Hello, class. The following is going to be a relatively brief tutorial on academic sources, how to find academic sources, and what a valid academic source would look like. So as you're going through this class and maybe some of your other classes, your instructors may ask you to cite a source other than the textbook, or cite a source other than what was provided in the course room. This short tutorial should help you at least be able to identify what an academic source is, and where to find it, how to critique its academic quality. And then, maybe towards the end we could talk a little bit about how actually do I use the article itself to be used maybe in a paper that I'm doing or in a discussion board. So, what I have here on the screen is an academic paper by Mayer and Allen, and it talks about organizational commitment. So, for an assignment that you have, your instructor may say to you, first of all, define organizational commitment. And what a lot of students do, not a lot of students, what some students will do is say, I think organizational commitment means this, or I believe organizational commitment means that. Okay, so that's definitely a no-no, right? For these things are these constructs that we're talking about, these concepts that we're talking about, are tightly defined and researched. If something isn't really defined, there's no way to research it. So if I want to research emotional intelligence and I say, I'm not quite sure what it is, but it has to do with emotions or something, there's no way that we could really get into the research and find out what is the importance of this construct. How can we predict things using this construct if I can't define it? So if you're asked in a class to define a psychological construct or a construct that's used in business, make sure that you're consulting the literature. It's not about what you think or what you believe it to be. It's about what years and years and years of research and conversation has determined that the definition of that construct is. Other students will do a step better than saying I think or I believe it's this. They will actually go out and they'll go on the internet and they'll go to something like businessdictionary.com or Wikipedia and find a definition of something like organizational commitment. The problem with that is they're not academic resources. A lot of times they're just dictionaries. Dictionaries define things in very short, clear, succinct ways. But again, that doesn't lead to the ability to be able to research something and really understand something at a deep level. So sites like businessdictionary.com, Wikipedia, I think Business Balls is another one I see a lot of. Again, maybe good places to start where I can go there and I can say, well, where are they looking? Where are some of the sites on? What are some of the sources on these sites maybe that I can go out to? But don't cite those specific websites. So what's the best option? The best option then is to find an academic peer-reviewed article. So when I say peer-reviewed, it means that these articles, once they're together, once they're written, are sent to a panel of 3 or 5 experts who read through it. They check everything, make sure everything is accurate, make sure the citations are accurate, and then they approve or accept or reject the paper for publication. So what I have on the screen here is an academic peer-reviewed article. How do I know that? Well, first of all, look at the way it's written. Right? There's no pictures, there's no cartoons on it. It's very clean. It's very scholarly looking. Number one. Number two, if I scroll down and look at, you can see here, you can't see me pointing, but it's from the Human Resource Management Review. Okay, I know personally that's a peer-reviewed academic journal. If I don't know that, I could quickly go do a Google search of the Human Resource Management Review. Their homepage will come up. It'll say academic peer-reviewed journal somewhere on that first page, so you know. I would even go as far as say if you're looking in the right places, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get an article that's going to be from a peer-reviewed academic journal. So whether you, and we'll go through some places where we can look for these things. If you're looking in the right places, you're probably going to find the right articles, and you don't need to go and confirm that they are indeed from a peer-reviewed academic source. Also, when you look at the Human Resource Management Review, it gives you a volume number, a page number, a year it was published. That's all stuff you're going to use in your citation too. So you need all that information when you're citing your source, whether it's in your research paper or on your discussion board. And again, this one paper that I pulled up here just talks about really more clearly defining organizational commitment. So this is an article from 1991. It's a very well-written article, and it's talking about taking the affective, continuance, and obligation 3 components and using that as a model for defining and researching organizational commitment. So if my professor asked me, first, define organizational commitment, I would go here and I would reference this article saying Mayer and Allen in 1991 tried to more clearly define organizational commitment, because some of the prior research was a little fuzzy. The definition wasn't quite there, and they did that using these 3 components of desire, need, and obligation. And then I'd put my own, I would put my own analysis or my own voice into there, saying, this was unique, and this is looking at it a little differently than others, and there's really 3. There's a behavior and a feeling component to this, which really hasn't been done before. That's the way I would answer that question like that, and I would certainly cite this paper that I was using. So where did I find this paper? Well, if you go to, oh boy, I don't know if I can see it here. I'm going to minimize this. If we go to, there's a couple of places actually, and I'm going to show you 2 places where you can go. If I'm feeling a little lazy and I'm just kind of like, I want to get a quick hit article here. What I do is go to Google, but I don't search in Google. What I do is I type in Scholar, and then Google Scholar comes up, and I go to Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a little different than a Google search in that it'll only search scholarly articles. So there's a very good chance that when you search in Google Scholar, when you search in Google Scholar, you're going to get back a journal article from a scholarly journal. So I'm going to type in organizational commitment here and search it, and sure enough, here's the one that I had called up before, 3-component conceptual. So I click on the PDF, and when I click on the PDF of that journal comes up. Okay, so you saw right there, that took me all of about 15 seconds to find a legitimate source. Now, the hard part, or the harder part maybe, is reading through this. If I go to Business Dictionary or some other place, it's probably going to be a very quick, here's a definition of organizational commitment. With an article like this, I'm going to have to read through a little bit. I'll read the abstract, maybe I'll read some of the background, but in doing so, I'm getting a very good understanding and feel for what it is that we're talking about. Our textbooks do an okay job, right? But they're very short. They give you some quick hitters. Here's organizational commitment. If you get in the habit of reading some of these articles, though, you're really going to get a much deeper understanding of the history of the research, of the conversation, of what exactly these researchers are talking about, and why these constructs are so important. So that's one way that I do it. The other way that I do it is if I'm writing a long paper where I really need some solid references, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to Blackboard, and under the library tab right here, under the library tab, I'm going to go to journals and online resources. So when you do that, it opens up a whole number of online databases that we have. And you can click into any one of these. There's the Business Insight, which is great. EBSCOhost is another one that I go to quite a lot. And when you click into there, you'll have a search bar, just like you normally would in Google, and you type in organizational commitment, and it's going to give you a whole host of articles on organizational commitment. Again, this may take a little longer maybe than going to Google Scholar, but if you're writing a more lengthy paper, you're definitely going to find a lot more of those articles in here than you would in Google Scholar. So this will take you down a little bit of a different path, but a much more rich and robust path in terms of the types of information you're going to get. So that's a quick guide into what an academic peer-reviewed article is, a little insight into what types of articles you should be looking for and downloading. Here, those academic peer-reviewed type journals. And then, some of these, again, are a little difficult to read. So you're not going to pour over these things. You're really going to kind of read the introductions in the background or literature review for most of the questions that you're going to answer. But in doing that, it's going to give you a much deeper understanding of some of these constructs, and it's going to allow you to really define and write and analyze these constructs in a much more academic way.